Welcome to Change the Narrative. I'm your host, JD Fuller.
I'm Suzy Younger,
an African-American licensed psychotherapist.
I'm also a licensed therapist.
We talk about the isms. We talk about the phobias, anything that marginalizes and oppresses.
As a white woman, I ask the questions white people are too afraid to ask.
Everything we are not and everything we are is because of fear.
Through a mental health lens, Suzy and I will have difficult conversations with celebrity guests, political activists, and everyone in between.
Our mind will tell us whatever we want to believe, but the truth lives in the body, and that's where change occurs.
Are you ready to change the narrative?
Our guest today is one of my favorite people on the planet. He's an icon. Burt Dubrow is an Emmy Award-winning producer responsible for the evolution of talk television, from Sally Jessy Raphael to Daily Blast Live, his new hit show. He is passionate about everything he does, but his love and devotion to television is on a whole other level. His house is literally a walking museum of television trivia. Welcome, Burt Dubrow.
Oh boy, how do I live up to all of that? An icon and all that. I'm not, but passionate I am. So I'll give you that. All right.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So you have such a long history in television. What has changed over the years from your perspective? I know a lot has changed, but what's the most significant from your perspective?
Well, let's see. Videotape came in recently, didn't it? Videotape just happened. Let's see. From radio, then we went radio, and then to television. What's changed? I'll tell you something. I don't know, other than reality television, which a very good friend and brother and of Suzy and myself, Mark Itkin, almost started in a way but other than reality television, which we can get into because I can't stand it and I don't watch it, but other than that, I don't know really. Other than I was joking about videotape, but there's very few live things anymore. Everything is on tape, and everything is so damn homogenized. That's the part that I think has changed over the years and hasn't helped, at least in my opinion, hasn't helped television at all. It used to be real, and it really isn't anymore. It's what the producers sort of want it to be. And I guess some of the irony is one of the shows that Suzy thankfully didn't mention was I am responsible for the Jerry Springer show. And I don't say that a lot, but I'll say it for the purposes of this discussion. And whereas people accused us of being phony, we weren't phony. We were real. And then reality television comes in with the word reality, and it's not real. So you know what? It's a damn mess. It's a mess. And by the way, as we talk today, we'll just straighten it out. That's
okay.
All.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's
I
all.
love your ambition. So TV plays an important role in informing the culture of America. What do you think the most important part of their role is? Because it kind of tells us what to think and feel and what to believe, not believe, which you've alluded to, especially with reality TV. What's your perspective?
Well, I'll go back on what I said a second ago. Here's what's changed, and I want to try to be politically correct here. But the news world has changed, and as I look at you guys and you ask me such a serious question, which I'm not used to, but I will answer it seriously.
We're serious.
Okay. It's sounding a little older, shall we say, when television when television started and it was at its height, you had ABC, NBC, CBS, and you had three networks, PBS. And if Walter Cronkite or Dan Rather or Peter Jennings or whoever told you something, it didn't really matter who you were watching. You got the same information. You just chose maybe who you thought was better looking or who delivered it better, whatever, but you got the same news. Now, I think the biggest change is we have all these other networks. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. We've got Fox, And you've got a completely different perspective there. So what is news? I mean, if you ask people that watch Fox, well, Fox is their news. If you ask people that watch CNN or MSNBC or whomever, then that's their news. That to me is the biggest change, and that's where the confusion has come in. So our news all used to be the same. Our news is not the same anymore, and I think that's part of the reason that we're so damn divided.
Interesting. So your motto is something must happen. What does that mean?
Oh boy. Yeah, I still feel that way. I say it to this day. I used to have a sign um outside the door on the Springer show that said "Make it work without sound." That was the other thing. Um, Richard Dominic, who was with me there, we both sort of thought that way. But yeah, I think here's what I say now. Here's the version of today anyway. That we have to move people. Somehow we have to move people. And when we're doing Daily Blast Live, which is the newest thing that I'm doing, it's sort of a cross between The View. I always say it's The View meets something. I have not figured out yet what it meets, but it's The View meets something. Maybe it becomes really successful when I figure out what it meets. But anyway, right now I haven't figured that out. But we have to move people. That means we've got to get them to feel something. That could be anger, that could be happiness, that could be entertainment, that could be conflict, whatever it is. If we don't move people, we're boring. And that's what I mean. That's really what I mean. So we got to make something happen, or we have to move people. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And so social media has had to have had an incredible impact. And clearly, given your most recent show, it has. How could you put that in words? Like, what has it brought to the table, this whole social media frenzy?
Well, it would be really nice if social media and broadcast television blended well together, and we could get great numbers on social media and have that just translate right to ratings in television, but it doesn't. And anybody that says it does, I mean, here's an example, and I'm not going to, I don't want to mention names, but there was a very, very popular show that was rebooted, brought back. I will mention the name of the show, of Double Dare on Nickelodeon, by a very, very dear friend of mine, Mark Summers, who was the host, is like a brother to me. And when they brought it back a couple of years ago, I thought, well, Mark should host it. But that's not what Nickelodeon did. Nickelodeon brought in this young lady, very, very young lady, and I don't remember her name now. It's terrible, but I don't. And she had millions of followers.
Yeah.
Millions of followers. And so here's where social media comes in. Whereas before, when Suzy was at William Morris and television was at a different place, you would deal with people that actually had talent. Or you would actually deal with people who could host a game show. They're actually at a time where game show hosts. That's, you think of The Price is Right, you might think of Bob Barker, or people like Wink Martindale and Bob Eubanks and Jim Lang, and the list goes on and on. Those guys were broadcasters.
Yeah.
They came up from radio. They were broadcasters. They knew what they were doing. Broadcasters are gone. Probably the last maybe talk show host broadcaster, at least that comes to my mind, is Letterman. Now that's a whole different world. But back to Double Dare. So they brought in this girl who had all these millions of followers. Well, with all those millions of followers that she has, shouldn't they bring that audience right over to television?
Yes.
No, because first of all, most of those people don't have a damn television. That's number one. They're watching TV on this, or they're watching TV another way. I mean, we used to have boy, do I sound like an old what here, but we used to have appointment television. I mean, my wife and I on Friday nights would not go out because Dallas was on. I mean, we would not go. I mean, it wasn't even a conversation. It wasn't like me saying, "Hey, Lynn, you want to go out?" And she'd say, "No." We just weren't going out. It was really that simple.
Yeah.
And even before that, there was it was called TGIF on Friday nights on ABC. You had Family Matter and Boy Meets World and etc. And we watched those shows with our two girls. And so we, by the way, now that I think about it, we never went out. All we did was do all we did all we did was do that. But anyway, so anyway, back to your social media thing. It's changed things because it gives us information in real time.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what it does. And we could talk about a million things that it does well, but we could also talk about a million things that it hurts. And I mean, I have a friend who put it pretty well. He's got a daughter, and his daughter was doing things that he didn't like, and so he said she can go on social media and find a million people that are doing exactly what she does, so therefore it's okay.
Yeah.
Instead of him saying you shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
So, but how it connects to television, it gives us information in real time. That's what it does. To me, they're such separate entities. The person that figures out how to make it go from digital to broadcast to make those numbers go up, is going to be a very rich person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, I can imagine. And that's so interesting what you say, how it doesn't translate. That's interesting. Because that's
Yeah,
what people, that's what everybody wants to do, be an influencer, get TikTok
I mean,
famous, and then
I mean,
think it's gonna
anybody
translate.
can listen. Anybody can say anything now. I
Yeah.
mean, you and I could go on right now and say any ridiculous thing that we want to say,
Mhm.
and there's how many millions of people that not only will see it, but will think that we're right.
I
And
know.
even
Right.
though we might be wrong, I
Yeah.
mean, again, it doesn't. It's senseless. But listen, it's a wonderful tool.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's a fantastic tool, but it does not connect to television as I see it anyway.
So you've said something else. You said we need to gather a crowd. How did you make that happen? What does that mean?
Well, first of all, let's give credit where credit's due.
Okay.
That I steal that line from Phil Donahue. Um,
Okay.
Phil, Phil Donahue said that all the time. I was lucky enough to be with the same company where we owned the Donahue show. It was Donahue, Sally Jessy Raphael, and Jerry Springer. But Phil started it, and we have to give the credit. You
Yeah.
want to see a broadcaster, you want to see a man know how to deal with an audience and deal with topics, then that's the man. And anybody else that did that, including me, was just trying to do a version of what he was doing.
Yeah.
David Letterman said when Johnny Carson passed away, and he was doing a special the night he finally came back to deal with the fact that Johnny passed away because he idolized him so much. He looked and he said, anybody that's sitting behind a desk and has a couch and has a chair and is doing a talk show, he said, let's face it, we're just trying to do what Johnny did, and we're really not pulling it off that well.
Oh, wow.
All right. And so I say that and give Phil Donahue all the credit. I mean, for
Yeah.
the people, and think about it, there's people that are watching or listening to us now that not only don't know who Phil Donahue is, don't know who Johnny Carson is, don't
Right.
even know who David Letterman. They don't even know who David Letterman is. They have no idea. And so that's sad. I mean,
Yeah.
it really sad. But I forgot the question, by the way. I'm rambling.
Gather a crowd. We need to gather a crowd.
Well, gather a crowd. The ultimate show would have been Springer. Let's face it. I mean, you throw a chair, gather a crowd.
Okay.
But I think we got to go back to the talent. That's how this medium started, and I still believe that that's the most important part of, at least in the format that I am so comfortable with, the talk format. If you've got good talent, I would like to think that an audience will find you. And in my particular case, I'm lucky. We've got five of probably the best people that I've worked with in a long time. Let me shut this thing off. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right.
Um, and it's got to start with the talent. I'm not a big format guy. I respect the format. I understand it. I certainly respect it when it comes to a game show. Everybody in the world thought that when The Price is Right went away, when Bob Barker went away, the show would be over. Well, it's not. You know, Drew Carey has made it work, and there's your format. I mean, there are formats that do work. The talk format is probably the oldest format in television, starting with radio. But to answer your question, talent to me, when all is said and done, it's about them, or it certainly should be about them. And Suzy knows that better than I do.
No, absolutely not. But thank you.
So I have a question for you about the reality TV comment. What do you hate about it? What's the thing you hate about it?
God help me. I don't understand how you ladies who are bright women are watching The Bachelor or The Bachelorette and thinking that that's okay. When you've got these women that are all going for everything that you all think you shouldn't be going for and you shouldn't be thinking is right. You're watching these people in hot tubs and making out with everybody. And not that I'm a prude, God knows I'm not a prude, but I don't understand the appeal. And clearly I'm wrong. I'm not right. I'm wrong because the numbers show that. But I guess reality television, if it's not real, then I don't like it. That's the simple answer. And I don't find it to look real, appear real. And I know the producers of those shows will probably get ready to kill me for saying it. But let me make it up to them. They do it well. They do it very, very well.
I'm obsessed.
It just is. What, Suzy?
I'm obsessed. JD doesn't watch them, but I do.
Yeah, and look at you. I mean, look at you. You're a bright, one of the smartest ladies I know. And not only are you watching it, you're admitting you watch it. That's even all right. So, but again, I'm wrong. I am wrong. So the numbers prove that.
You know, I think it has something to do with the immediate gratification, the lack of patience to follow a story, and the stagnation of it. I mean, you look at some of these shows, you can watch it once a year. You don't really see a whole lot of movement. So it's the contradiction of immediate gratification, but staying put for a year, watching the same show where nothing really evolves.
Didn't you just define a soap opera too?
Yeah, but I'm going to say a soap opera was different. I'm going to say a soap opera was different because it didn't, I don't think it pathologized people as much as these shows did. You know, it's like every stereotype you're afraid you're going to see on TV, the worst characteristics have now been the highest portrayed or the most popular.
Amplified.
Yeah, amplified. Thanks. I couldn't think of the word. And I think that's problematic. I think it's a problem for society. I mean, anytime, you know, the Kardashians are who they are, you know, because of reality TV, it's like, what are people, where's the stimulation? Where I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, ask Suzy. I mean, because
I've tried.
She watches it. I mean, I don't know the answer to that at all. We don't watch it. I'm trying to think if my girls do. I've got two. I can't believe I'm saying this. I've got a 34-year-old and a 31-year-old.
I was at their bat mitzvahs.
Yeah. And I don't think they watch a lot of them. My older daughter, Allie, who's in this business, just got me recently into watching a couple of things on Netflix. But if she didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have. But those are just regular, you know, like they're not reality shows. They're sort of glorified Lifetime movies in a way that are series, you know, which I do like.
It's true. Okay, so I have a question for you. How do you think, Bertie Burt, your whiteness has actually contributed to your success?
Boy, there's something you never asked me when we were on the phone. But all right. Well, up until recently, I wouldn't say it helped at all. But now, in the world that we're living in and the culture that we are dealing with, and just, you know, as recently as a couple of days ago when the Floyd trial that finally happened and the right decision, thank God, was made. More work to be done, but um, Suzy, I never really thought of it that way at all. I've always hired. I know this. I've always hired all different kinds of people, but I guess I am a privileged person because of my color and I mean it's not my fault. I was born this way, but it's certainly, I will tell you, it doesn't take away from what I've done or what I haven't done. I will tell you that what's going on today has changed me a great deal and made me put a magnifying glass on and watch everything much, much closer and make sure that all voices are heard. And I will proudly tell you that our show, and it's been on the air, we're into our going into our fourth season, is probably the most diverse talk show on television. Now, that's before we had any of these and these issues that we're talking about and ones that we should be talking about. But we're very, very diverse and proud of it, by the way, damn proud of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it's changed me other than I guess just being white gives me a privilege that others don't have. And
there you go.
And whereas I wasn't as aware of it before, I am very aware of it now.
That's it, right? And I bet, Bertie Burt, that that's a question that you're going to be thinking about tonight when you go to sleep.
That and the color of your lipstick, yes.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, I work hard on that color.
Yeah, I know.
I work hard on that red. It has to be the perfect red. Okay, what is your greatest regret in life? It doesn't have to be about television. It can be from anywhere.
I have a lot. I have a lot. I mean, that I probably didn't take school as seriously as I should have. I used to say that, I mean, I've done this, I've been interested in this for so long that I used to say when I was in junior high school got in my way. I mean, I used to say that kiddingly. I mean, and by the way, it did get in my way. I mean, it really did. My father, damn it, died at 49 years old and never lived to see anything that I did. And didn't think that I should be doing what I wanted to do. Now that I am a father, I feel for him because the idea that he had a kid that said was going to go into television, well, what the hell does that mean? I'm going to fix them if they break? I mean, what does it really, what does it mean? So, I mean, that's a regret that I didn't take school as seriously as I probably should have. Oh God, I mean, I would have liked to have been home more, although I was home a lot. I really want to answer your question because I really haven't thought about that a lot. But I wish my regret is I wish I had a better relationship with my father. Very few. None of it has anything to do with television. I don't think. I think. But I think I was a pretty good father, so I don't regret that at all. Maybe I could have been a better husband to my wife, who I'm married to for 36 years. But maybe I could be a better husband. But no, those are all my regrets are personal ones. They're not professional ones.
Yeah,
they're not professional.
You'll probably think about that one tonight too.
She's got a whole.
Well, I think about that a lot. Listen, my daughter's getting married, and so I do think about my dad a lot now, and so that goes through my mind a whole bunch. But anyway, those are the first things that pop into my head.
No, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, how do you give back to society? I bet I didn't ask you that on the phone either.
No. you know, this is going to be corny, but I think what we do and what I've done every day, and most of what I've done, not certain things professionally, I think I do that. I think we do things on Daily Blast Live every day where we try to give something back, and we try to show people another way, another side, another point of view. That's important. Just any way that I can help others. I'm a big person in mentoring. I love that. And that's a giving back thing to me, and that is a professional. That is professional. And then of course the obvious things are you give money here, you give a couple of dollars there, you know, on those things. But just trying to help other people in my everyday life. My daughters are very helpful to me that way. They show me things that because of their generation, that they think about those things, I think, much more than we did. So that's great. That's an answer.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm also just going to say, because I always love your host chats, you know that, and I think that the way that you cast them, there's so much balance. Like you really have all sides, and so, you know, swinging back to what you said about news and the balance. So that's also
I you know, I honestly take no credit for casting them. They were there when I got there. And Lisa Credos, who she and I love to joke about this. I was her boss, and now she's my boss years later. She cast them, and but if I brought anything to the show, and I would like to think I did, I brought conversation to the show. I brought good, solid, relevant. That's the word. Relevant conversation. The show is relevant, and I think whatever we do today must be relevant. The other thing that I didn't mention to you guys earlier, and I'm guilty of it, when we were talking about news, is that there was no opinion years ago. You weren't allowed to have an opinion, which I think might have been healthier, by the way. Now you've got all the news shows, you know, you got all night, you've got panels, pick a network or a cable network. And then the other thing that I think sort of maybe hurt this a little bit was when Ted Turner, you know, created CNN, and you had the news cycle going 24/7. You had to create shows to fill that time. And what better way, or easier way, is to put a panel of people up and have them express their opinion. Well, I'm not sure that was such a good idea, and I'm doing it every day. I mean, so I think some people have abused that.
Interesting perspective, Burt.
Okay, I'm going to do something called word association, which means.
You see, now we're getting into all this psychology stuff, and thought this was just going to be a nice thing. And
you're almost done.
I'm not in any rush. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to talk to you. Listen, with you guys, you answer. These guys behind me only answer what I want them to.
That's right. That's right.
Right. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Suzy. I'm kidding.
Okay, one word association. Racism.
Today.
Patriarchy.
Phony.
Power.
Be careful.
Wow.
That's good.
Great.
Success.
Be careful.
Nicely done. Okay.
I also was going to say, and success, I would also say the other side is smile. Smile.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all want some kind of, I don't think any of us wake up in the morning and go, I just don't want to be successful.
Right.
I don't think anybody does. You know, I think we all want to be successful. Whatever that means, I think it has a different meaning to everybody.
Burt, I love you to pieces. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to turn it over to JD for the final question.
All right, Burt, here we go. Take it home.
Wait a minute. Is this something that you're reading and you had planned?
What do you mean? right now?
The final question.
We always have a final question.
It's always the same.
I'm nervous about after we finish this. Can I say a couple of things to close also?
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Then I'm ready. Go.
You good?
Go ahead.
You ready?
Go. Yes.
What does changing the narrative mean to you?
It means getting people to think another way. And that's what it means to me. It means getting people to think another way, in another direction, make them wonder, make them think, hey, is that right? Is that wrong? Maybe I should do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. It also means today, every day, as we sit here, we're changing the narrative. Every day we're doing it. Hopefully we're doing this because we're not doing it in a good way. Hopefully it'll end up that we do it in a good way, and that everybody becomes equal on some damn level, and we stop this divisiveness and this foolishness. Because back to my dad, who would always say to me, you're no better than anybody else. You are no better than anybody else. And that's, I think, something we should all go by.
Very nicely done. Thank you so much, Burt. It's been a pleasure. You wanted to say a couple of things?
Yeah, here's one. These are very, very deep things that I'd like to say. Number one, I love your glasses. Okay? And if you will stay right there, don't move.
Okay,
don't move.
Not going anywhere.
As I go, what you talk, or else it'll be dead air. So hold on.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I love your glasses too, JD.
Yeah, see, I know you're going to pull yours out now. See, we would have been wearing the same ones.
Hold on. Oh, there we go. Well, then let's do these. I'll top all of you.
All right, go ahead.
Here's Sally Jessy Raphael's glasses.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, these are the original ones, and these are from in the same case, Sterling Optical, that I don't know exists anymore. I don't know.
Wow.
But these are her glasses.
Wow.
So I thought, when I saw your blue ones, I thought it reminded me.
That's awesome.
And then the other thing, I just thought I'd give you a little prop. What the hell? Doesn't
love
hurt,
it,
right? There's a camera here. And the other thing, I have to say that there's nobody other than Henry and Suzy's mother that is more proud of Suzy than I am, because I watched her. I'll get all choked up. So I watched her go through so much, and then she called me on the phone, which I know was a big deal for her to do it, and asked me if we would get together. And because we had not talked in a while and we had our differences, she had her shtick that she went and got fixed. And she was so nervous to get together with me. She made her husband come. She made Henry come with her. Like, by the way, like I'm gonna bite. But that I am so proud to watch somebody that recognized, hey, something's not right. I got to fix this. Fixed it, and here we are. So I just want to make sure I said that.
Thank you so much for saying that, Burt. Thank you so
much to me. And you're right, I did break Henry. And that restaurant is no longer there, but
we closed it.
We closed it. We closed it, but I love you, Burt, and thank you. Seriously.
I love you too. I love you too. And Suzy and I have been through so much together, and she will help me, by the way, because all I keep hearing now from everybody is, you got to write a book, you got to write a book, you got to write a book. And I will go to Suzy when that day comes to see if that can actually happen. But I thank you guys for inviting me. I appreciate you giving me the time and giving me your time. So thank you very much.
Well, let me just say thank you so much for coming on and giving us your valuable time. It's not often that, I get to sit down and talk to somebody with a long, amazing career that you've had. So thank you so much. Really.
You're welcome, but my time's not that valuable. Believe me, yours is more valuable. You guys are great. And the gentleman who is making all of this work, what's his name?
Kevin.
let's make sure he gets credit that the pictures are here and the audio is here only because of him, not because of the three of us at all.
That's
All right?
correct.
Always,
Yeah.
always,
That's correct.
always. Thank you, Burt. Take care.
Thank
Love you guys.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.